Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this edition of the Prime Time Newscast on Canal the International. I'm called Marinzi. We'll begin with our top stories. At least 5 persons have died and a dozen injured after a ghastly road accident around their earlier strike action announced nationwide. A strike action this February 22. Those some schools are fully into action of teaching with no observation of the strike in the city of Yaoundé. Others teachers have completely abandoned their classroom until government seeks solutions to their problems. And there has been a surge in cholera outbreak in the littoral region ever since it was first detected some weeks back. Schools have taken measures to contain its spread. And the Diocese of Mamfe now has a new bishop. Reverend Aloysius Afundong has been appointed by the Holy Father to lead the Diocese of Mamfe. Those are major stories. Details right ahead. Once more, teachers of the secondary education sector have entered day 2 of their earlier announced nationwide strike action this February 22, 2022. Though some schools are fully into action of teaching with no observation of the strike in the city of Yaoundé. The strike is highly observed by some teachers who say they will continue with the strike action until government seeks solutions to their problems. More on the story with our reporter, Hysen Cha.
Contacting some teachers of the secondary education this Tuesday morning, they are still very much boiling and ready to hold on to the strike action until their demands are made.
It is always good to strike an iron when it is still hot, because a lot of things have been discussed, but the government seems to be too lukewarm, or the government is even hesitating. I don't want to say nonchalant about the demands of the teachers.
They continue to decry the irregularities and their neglect as molders of young Cameroonians.
Could you imagine a teacher, category A2 teacher, will have a premium of 1,800 francs? Is that not abusive? It is an insult to the personality of such a teacher. I think things like these are things that have caused teachers to be exceptionally angry with the government, and we think a strike action is necessary for such issues to be redressed.
But in most schools in the nation's political capital, the call for the nationwide strike action seems to have fallen on deaf ears. Some leaders of the teachers' trade unions say their numerous meetings with authorities have produced promising results, reason why they are back in their respective schools.
The resolutions are promising. They are promising because I'm telling you that I took part in that meeting, and the ministers involved in the management of our careers, and our payments, they were all instructed, firmly instructed. So all of those ministers are ready to work. They are ready to work. This is no joke. That is why I think that the promises will be they will be implemented.
He underlines that the government must strive to meet the demands of the unpaid dues and ameliorate the conditions of the disgruntled teachers. All attempts to get other members of the teachers' syndicates yielded no fruits, as the team of Canal reporters were liably informed of their consultation meeting with the Minister of Secondary Education to seek lasting solutions.
And the strike is on in the littoral region, with teachers of the basic education sector saying they remain fearless despite intimidation and threats from their hierarchy for them to end the strike. Gathered under the National Trade Union of Teachers and Parents of the Littoral, the teachers say they will go as far as blocking end of year examinations if that would take to have their problem solved. More in the following story. Gathered under the National Trade Union of Parents and Teachers, these primary school teachers are determined to push through with what they have called an indefinite strike action until government respects its commitments on improved teachers' working, living conditions and fixed status.
Le mouvement de grève a été lancé d'abord le 14 au 18.
The strike action was programmed between the 14 and 18 following a report we tabled to the Ministry of Basic Education, but government's laxity in solving our problem pushed us to ground our tools. We have decided to call off classes on Mondays, Tuesdays and Wednesdays and only attend to children on Thursdays, Fridays and Saturday. And if government does not still solve the problem, then the strike action will continue until end of year examinations. We might even block the exams.
La grève va se poursuivre jusqu'aux examens de fin d'année.
The leader of the trade union, Taka Takumbe, see the action has provoked constant threats and intimidations from hierarchy, but they remain fearless. They intend to mobilize and sensitize more teachers to join the strike for improved working conditions. Government makes promises but does not respect them. Our hierarchy keeps telling us to wait. But for how long are we going to continue waiting? We want better working conditions, integration, delayed salaries, family allowance, benefits, and many more paid. A lot of teachers are suffering from unpaid arrears.
On attend depuis. Nous investiguons. Aucun collègue ne nous dit qu'il a reçu.
It should be noted in 2012, the Prime Minister set up a committee to solve all issues pertaining to teachers. What have been the results years after? What the teachers are questioning. And there has been a surge in cholera cases in the littoral region ever since the first case was detected some few weeks back. Schools in the littoral region have taken measures to contain its spread, as we hear in the following story with our reporter Saleh Sharifa.
At every corridor here at this school complex is a bucket for students to wash their hands as the school steps up measures to combat the rapidly spreading cholera disease.
We have always been maintaining very good hygiene that will make sure that we fight any kind of disease that it comes. So for example, we have a very formidable cleaning department that makes sure that the school is clean all the time, and the water that the kids use in school, it's treated. And we ban the sales of certain items in school, things that they use water in order to produce. We ban those things. So we have been using these measures ever since, so it's not really new. But with the outbreak of cholera, we've just reinforced it again and make sure that the kids are safe in that aspect.
There has been a surge in cholera cases since it was first detected in the littoral region. 28 cases out of 80 suspected cases had been found with the disease since its outbreak in December 2021, with 2 deaths registered in Douala. At this other school, still in Douala, administrators have taken measures to bar the way for the epidemic.
We have wash hand buckets in front of all the sections in the school, all levels, at the offices and so on, so that when people come, they wash their hands. The children come in the morning, they wash their hands before they get into their classroom. When they go on break, they wash their hands before they eat their food, because we have also made it possible for children to bring food from their homes in order to be sure, so that the food is not contaminated.
For other schools, the selling of food on campus is now prohibited, and students are advised to rather bring food from home.
And 5 persons are reported to have died and 11 others are injured after a fatal accident at the Canal bridge in Banganti, a west region of Cameroon. The accident occurred as a result of a collision between a bus and a truck and has been blamed for on high speed. As the following story with Regina Leketandak.
A minibus of the Ledu agency reduced to scrap after a violent collision with this truck. The result, 5 dead on the spot and a dozen more wounded. The accident occurred this Tuesday at 8 a.m. on the Canal bridge on the way to Bangante. The truck was coming from Bafoussam. The minibus was trying to overtake the truck on the bridge. That was how it hit the truck. And when the truck tried to dodge, the bus went under. It is a truck you see over there that put us in this shock. The car was full and we were already going. I was just lucky I was at the back seat. The dead were transported to the mortuary in Bangante and the wounded were conveyed to the Clinique Universitaire du Montagne.
Nous avons reçu au total 11 blessés.
We received 11 wounded. Amongst the 11, 2 of them were critically injured. We are mobilizing to refer them to the reference hospital in Bafoussam.
Le nouvel hôpital de référence à Bafoussam.
Alerted about the situation, the divisional officer and his close aides descended to the scene. We were alerted about the situation and came down to see for ourselves. So far, 5 dead and 11 wounded. We cannot say exactly what caused the accident as investigations are still on, but from eyewitness accounts, it suggests excess speed and recklessness on the part of the driver caused the accident. Road users have once again been called upon to observe prudence while driving on the road.
Of Manfi now has a new bishop, Reverend Aloysius Fundong was appointed by the Holy Father, the Lord, to lead the Diocese of Manfi. The announcement was made today in an extraordinary meeting convoked by the Archbishop of Bamenda. Until his appointment, Reverend Aloysius Fundong was a teacher and a trainer at the St. Thomas Aquarius Major Seminary in Ambambu. We'll come back to that in subsequent editions of the newscast. Administrative authorities drawn from divisions across the national territory are currently receiving weapons in Yaoundé on defending a state's interest in courts, an occasion to recall some basic rules to the collaboration of administrative authorities and strengthen mechanisms of limiting a state blunder before a justice. More in the following story.
They are Assistant Senior Divisional Officers ready to overcome their loopholes in administration and the defense of state interest. The objective of these 2 days workshop, organized by the Ministry of Territorial Administration to build the capacities of the collaborators of the SGOs.
Should give us the opportunity to upgrade them with legal skills on the main subject of the defense of the interest of state before court, especially administrative court.
Presiding over the opening ceremony, the Secretary General at the Ministry of Territorial Administration urged the participants to make use of the opportunity to eradicate the challenges for the good of the state.
We are facing some situation on where the state have to pay a lot of money because we are not well represented. It is the main object of these 2 days of training.
The workshop is equally an occasion to redefine basic procedures and fundamental rules to apply while in court and to put at their disposal the necessary documents for regular consultation.
The International Mother Tongue Day has been highly celebrated by inhabitants of Yabasi under the theme using technology for multilingual learning, challenges and opportunities. Our reporter Stephanie Achin has been talking with some pupils, teachers and parents on the strategy they are using to promote the mother tongue. More in the following story.
According to some inhabitants of Yabasi, the mother tongue is the first language learned at home and understood by many children, a value instilled in individuals from childhood. I speak Bassa, which is my mother tongue. I teach my children in Bassa how to wash their hands, how to say thank you, how to say go and sleep, how to say come. And my children are really coping with it. You cannot say to my child, come in Bassa, and he doesn't come. That is what I usually do with my children, same thing my parents did to me. So when they live with their grandmom, they will not be lost.
Donc c'est ce que je fais de temps en temps avec mes enfants pour qu'eux aussi s'habituent.
The people are gathered in homes and schools to celebrate this day at Kobong, a small village located in the district of Yabasi.
Papa et maman, maman sont enseignants. 1. Nala. 2. L'eau. 3. Dala. 4. Des. 5. 6, 2, 7, 9, 8, 9.
At the Sebek school in Kombong, the students did presentations in several languages, amongst which was the singing of Cameroon's national anthem in the mother tongue. Some of these languages vary from Fulbe, Badem, Bassa, Banen, Bang and Zibong. The International Mother Tongue Day is effective in our school. We have classes twice every week to promote mother tongue in our community, like Bassa, Banen, and so on. It helps the children integrate themselves in the society. It is also a key of development. Inhabitants of Yabasi have thus spelled out the importance of mother tongue in the future of our children.
We take this information just reaching our studio. Tension is currently high at